Today, we're actually going to be looking at a brand new MMORPG game that is going to release to the public for free tomorrow. And the name of that game is Rune Slayer. Now, this game used to be called something like Yagalashlisly Skill. Yagidly Skill? I don't know how you pronounce that, man. All I know is the name used to be kind of crazy. But they rebranded and made the name a lot more simple to pronounce, and it's just better marketable. The first time I discovered Rune Slayer was a year or two ago. I'm not too sure how long it was at this point, but it was about a year and a half, if not 2 years ago, on NanoProdigy's channel, where he actually played the game with the owner, and I'm not gonna lie, it looked very interesting. There, a lot of people were calling it like a Deep Woken-esque clone, even though there were some features that you could, I guess, relate to Deep Woken. It is a parry-based game, but I would say it takes more from MMORPGs or RPGs such as Elden Ring more than it takes from a game like Deep Woken, but that's neither here or there. But that's how the game initially caught my interest. And in NanoProdigy's video, the thing that kind of sold me a little bit was you being able to tame monsters. Not any, but most animal-like monsters in the game are able to be tamed. Things like deers, wolves, rabbits, and things of that nature. You are actually able to tame those animals and use them in combat, or you can mount them and ride them, which is actually super cool. There's not any features like that in any Roblox games that I know of, at least, where you're actually able to tame wild animals and mount them, unless it's like Pokemon. Now, in today's video, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I didn't actually play the game because I didn't want to spoil the game's progression for myself. I didn't want to spoil the game for myself, so I didn't actually play or progress in the game, but I did hop into the game and took very brief looks at some of the gameplay features. So today we're going to be taking a look at some of the things that I saw within the game and just sharing that with you guys, so you guys can maybe be as interested in the game as I am. But yeah, this game does release tomorrow. Without further ado, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. The link to the game, the Discord server, and my Discord server will be in the description below as always. Let's get in. Okay, so for character customization, it's honestly pretty simple. You have different races, and the races are humans, elves, orcs, Aurelians, slimes, half golems, and dulans, or should I say dulahans. Each race has their own set of passives and abilities, and some races contain race evolution. Some of these races also have race progression. A race progression is obviously tied to race evolution, and obviously each race has their own sorts of passives as well. So that's pretty interesting, and I will describe those passives here. Humans are highly adaptable with exceptional ability to sustain their resources, making them well suited for any scenario. Cool. And I think humans automatically have these passives. So tenacity, when below 50% health, gain 15% attack damage, and that's actually pretty good. And damage reduction, Ghoul Slayer, or is this random? Hold up, let me purchase a reroll and see if the passive change here. The passives do change. Okay, the passives do change here. So elf, here you have a speed boost joint, you have 10% increased mana, and you have a 5% increased focus. So obviously elf is going to be for like the mage abilities, the mage classes, etc, obviously. And since this costs no Robux, let's just see if we can get anything good here. Oh, we got an orc joint. The orcs actually kind of look fire. I like the design of this. I'm not even going to read that. You guys could do that on your own time. I'm here for the passives. Increase your base health regen by 10%. That's pretty W. Okay. Ravenous, increase your maximum hunger by 15%. Okay, that's going to be super useful because hunger is always going to be an issue. Increase your resistances by 20%. So orc, I feel like the best thing about orc is obviously the health regen. Health regen is always going to be a good stat. Always going to be a good stat. And you could probably make some broken builds with the orc class. So that's pretty interesting. Heat resistance. So obviously from heat resistance, there's going to be areas in the game where heat definitely affects your character, your stats, and your gameplay. So orc is going to be handy in those situations as well. Okay, cool. Let's see what else we get. Let's see if we get lucky with any of the rarer stuff. Right now, we've actually just gotten them all in order, which is pretty interesting. Okay, so apparently you don't actually get all your passives at once. You unlock them as you play the game. So I was thinking that would be quite OP if we had all of these at the start, right? So as we play the game later on, we're going to get to unlock the passives. And apparently some of these passives are going to have different ways to upgrade them as well, which is going to be super interesting. Imagine being able to upgrade your battle hardened to the point where you have 20% health regen increase or 30% health regen increase. That would be pretty OP. But let's keep rolling and see if we can get something good here. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, didn't manage to get any of the other stuff. We finally got something good though. Dulan, the first 2%, an undead creature summoned by the vampiric dragon lord, drawing power from souls. And they have severed insight. Remove your head and place it on the ground, allowing you to see it from a distance. Now apparently this isn't finished. This race isn't finished, so I'm assuming there's going to be more passives that this race receives. However, as of right now, this is a terrible 2%. But it's not finished. So by the time the game releases, Dulan is definitely going to have more passives. As of right now, very, very basic. Half Golem. Okay, this actually looks pretty cool. Fantastic Four. So Half Golem has one passive and it's called Stone Body, and you get 5% speed boost, 5% damage reduction. Wait, no, this is -5 speed boost, -5 speed boost, +5 damage reduction, +10 max rate, and 25% robustness. Now we don't know how OP robustness is gonna be in the game as of right now. However, Half Golem is a 6%, so it's got to be pretty decent, right? I'm super curious to see what slime gives now. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, we got Alurian. If I pronounced that right, this is a furry race. Nimble feline race known for their speed and exceptional climbing abilities, making them masters of traversal and agility. Fleet foot, 8% speed boost. Beastly coat. Oh, -10% fire, -10% fire resistance, which makes sense. The body's covered with fur. 25% heat resistance and 25% cold resistance. So fire damage is gonna hit you for a lot, but in hot and cold environments, your coat actually protects you. Double-edged sword, I guess. And then you have Prowler, 25 jump height. Oh, and +15 4 damage reduction. I'm not gonna lie, this actually might be really good. Having movement speed's always a plus, and the resistances is actually pretty good, so you don't have to worry about stuff when you're in a cold or a hot environment. That's actually really nice. I would keep this if I didn't want to see what slime stats were. Honestly, we gotta get slime. Okay, we finally got slime. Okay, it's actually, look, you can see the coating around the body and everything. Slime is a heteromorphic monster that uses their slime to dissolve their prey. Ferocious remains. When struck, there's a chance to release a blob of slime. Now, is this slime an NPC that deals damage to the opponent, or I want to see what passives that actually comes with. I want to see the passive in effect, should I say. Slime body, -7.5 magic resistance, -7.5 fire resistance. However, you get a +25% immunity. What's the immunity for though? Is this like you have a chance to not take any damage? And then we have a Ferocious Shock. Sacrifice a portion of your HP to unleash a powerful shockwave. Okay, so this is it deals magic damage, or it scales with magic damage. So or you need to have magic in order to do it. So you need 10 magic to do it. Obviously it'll probably scale, the damage will scale with how much magic you have as well. Pretty interesting. I know my boy Gilga Slime likes being mages. So this might be the one for him. I'm really curious to see it, to know what immunity does. Something really interesting happens within the tutorial of this game that can help you with your progression. Now, it doesn't really matter if you achieve this something or not, you can still play the game regardless. However, I'm not going to spoil anything as of right now. I will speak about it in a future video, probably on Sunday's video, because I want everybody to play the game. So I'll bring out an in-depth beginner's guide on Sunday. However, the only hint I'll give you is just think of Elden Ring tutorial boss. Let's move on. Now, there are different classes in this game as well, that being the mage, the archer, warrior, striker, or thief. And I'm very sure there's going to be more classes added in the future, and each of these classes have 2 to 3 subclass. Some have 2, some have 3. It just depends on what you pick, and I loved it. I love it when MMORPG games have set classes because it encourages individualism. Sometimes having too much free reign is annoying. I digress. At level 30, you'll be able to pick one subclass for your main class. So if you pick Thief, for example, it's because it's the only one I know. I don't know any of the other subclasses. Thief has 2 subclasses, that being Ninja and Assassin. Each of them have different abilities, traits, stats, etc. So you're gonna kind of want to pick wisely. You're gonna want to experiment as well, because there's not going to be too many guides out on things like subclasses until at least a week in the game's life cycle, right? So make sure you pick cautiously. Whichever one sounds and looks the coolest to you, go for it. Now we have progression. Again, I don't know too much about progression, mainly because, as I said at the start of the video, I kind of wanted to keep the game fresh for myself. I do want to play the game from a new perspective, without any spoiler gameplay, because I want to experience everything with everyone else during release tomorrow. I know you guys think I'm some sort of YouTuber, but in reality, I'm just like you guys. I'm a player, I'm a consumer. I want to play the game. However, what I do know about progression is that builds are going to work kind of interesting, as in, let's say your armor slots, your headpiece, your back piece, there's rings, whatever the case may be. You can actually put kind of relics or stones, whatever you want to call it, inside of these slots that your armor will have, and these slots or the relics will give your piece of armor a set passive. So some armors, you can have 2 of the same armor pieces, but one of them could have 3 slots, the other one could have 1 slot, the other one could have 0 slots. So kind of gonna want to farm for good armors or armor sets that have 3 slots, 3 is the max, so that you can eventually put relics or stones, I forgot what they're called, inside of those armor slots, so that you can be more powerful. You can really stack out a build if you go about it the right way. Now finally, the thing to me that matters the most, taming. Yes, taming. You can tame monsters in this game, you can tame animals in this game. Now I'm not too sure to the extent that you can do this. I'm not too sure if you can tame like the legendary wolf boss or whatever. I don't even think that's a thing. I just said something random. However, I do know you can tame most animal monsters. So for instance, in the video, you can see me trying to tame the wolf. I got really close on the second attempt, but taming isn't 100% thing. You can fail. Different animals are tamed with different pieces of, let's just call it food or bait. So wolves are tamed with deer meat, and I'm very sure like something like a deer would be tamed by like a carrot or an apple or something of the sort. Now there is a subclass in the game that specializes in monster taming. However, I'm not too sure which class has it. It would make the most sense for it to either be hunter class, because obviously hunters hunt animals, you know, so it would make sense if one of the subclass was beast tamer. But mage could be one as well, because mages kind of like, you know, like necromancers, you know, they have mind spells. So yeah, it's either under mage or hunter. I'm assuming it's hunter because it kind of makes the most sense to become a beast tamer if you're a hunter. So I'm very sure they probably get some sort of bonus taming stats or something of the sorts. But yeah, you are able to tame wolves, deers, beavers, whatever the case may be. You can tame it and you can ride them. However, you cannot ride them until you get your saddle, and I'm pretty sure the saddle quest is one of the mainline quests, so you'll actually get your saddle eventually. However, you won't be able to ride anything you tame until you get your saddle. So if you tame a wolf early game, you can't actually use it until you can't actually ride it until you get your saddle. Also, obviously your tamed animals can attack other players and other monsters in the game. So they're kind of like Pokemon, literally. And I'm just gonna put the last 2 points together. We have world bosses. World bosses obviously are gonna spawn in the world. I'm not too sure how many there are. I think there's 2 or 3, whatever the case may be. I guess we'll run into them whenever we run into them, and you'll know you run into them because they'll be super strong. You're gonna need a big party, not even just a party. You're gonna need to be in a server with a lot of people if you want a chance of taking down a world boss, especially early game. And then obviously there's gonna be legendary weapons in the game as well. I'm not too sure how many they said there are. 2 or 3 legendary weapons in the game as of right now, and during updates they'll bring more legendary weapons out. And you obviously obtain legendary weapons by defeating bosses or certain type of mobs, maybe even the world bosses. I'm not actually too sure how you obtain them, but yeah, they are obtainable in game, and I've seen 2 of them. Or I've actually only seen one of them in action, but I've seen what the other one looks. It's a sword looking thing, and the other one's like a big axe that looks pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think of Rune Slayer in the comment section down below. In my opinion, there's gonna be a lot of things to the game. There's like things like in-game factions and all that other stuff, but I don't really think the faction system and all of that's important for this video. This isn't a guide video. I just wanted to get you guys interested in the game. Obviously I'll do an in-depth beginner's guide 24 hours after the game releases, so you guys can expect that on Sunday. I'm actually not that I'm not, oh, this is Rel C's excited, but I'm looking forward to playing this game, mainly because, well, Roblox doesn't have anything interesting, and 2, this game is more up my alley. I do like MMORPG-esque games, such as this game. I enjoyed their Verse of Creations before the developers just updated the game really slowly. I do know MMORPGs are more on the harder side to update and maintain, and the niche is very small within the Roblox community, so it is harder for a game like this to thrive. But I can't wait to actually play it. So I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. We will be streaming the game probably all night, so make sure you're there. Turn on post notifications. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.